All right. So into the next section on the board, I drew back the party system, the three-party system. If you're at home, go back in your book so you can see the drawings again or in your notes. So let's play a little, what was it, Mystery Science Theater 3000 or whatever. So I borrow money from a bank, and then I proceed to not make the payment for 18 months. And I tell the bank in the two-party system, hey, I'm supposed to get 18 months where I don't make a house payment. And they say, no, I don't think so. We loaned you money, you signed this thing, and it says if you don't make your house payments, you're going to give me your asset. I said, oh, well, I don't think that's what that thing says. I think it says I get 18 months of free living. And they said, no. I said, really? So we disagree, right? Yeah, we disagree. Well, we're going to have to get someone to explain to us what this mortgage says. Who's the only person in the world that can tell you what a contract says legally? Not an attorney, the judge. Because my attorney is going to say one thing, your attorney is going to say another. The judge is the only one that can read a contract and go, this is what it says, there's the answer. So in the two-party system, or the lien theory, if I have a disagreement about my mortgage document that I signed with the lender, we're going to have someone tell us what it is. That someone is a judge. Therefore, we have to go through a judicial foreclosure. Because I think that mortgage said I got 18 months worth of payments, free. The lender that lent me the money said, no, that's not what I think. I'm like, well, so we disagree, right? Let's get someone to tell us. The lender says, okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll file a court case, and we'll go to a very special court and let that judge tell you what the mortgage says. That special court is called a foreclosure court, and the judge will determine what that mortgage says. Here's another word that people talk about all the time when they go, well, I'm in foreclosure. No, you're not. You're in pre-foreclosure because foreclosure takes this long. Guilty. Now you're foreclosed on. All right? So we go in front of a judge, and the judge says, you know what, Raymond? You're wrong. I find you guilty of violating your mortgage because you don't get 18 months free. So they've accelerated their loan. They called it due. Give them their money right now. Where's my wallet? Oh, it's in my coat. That scared me for real. I think my butt puckered a little bit right there. When I reached back and my wallet was gone. Yeah. Whew. That'll make an old man's heart race when you go reach for your wallet and it's gone. Give them the money. I don't have the money. Okay. In that mortgage, you promised you would give the collateral back if you missed your payment. Give them the house. That's how the house gets taken. You go to a foreclosure judge, the judge finds you in violation of your IOU, calls the loan due. Now, theoretically, if you stood there and he said, give him the money, and you went, sure, no problem, I hit the lottery on the way in, boom, there's the cash. That's cool. That's still stupid because you've already been foreclosed on. You should have done that before that happened. But the reality is the bank doesn't want your house. They want your money. We have to go to a judge to get them to read the contract. We go through judicial foreclosure here in Indiana.
So at that point, though, once you've taken that step to do the judicial foreclosure, they won't let you sell the house to give them the money.
You must sell. The question is, you can't sell house. No. Once the judge gavels come down, you're foreclosed on. Up until that date, you can sell the house and give them their money. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. But once the gavel goes, you're done. All right? Now, so every lien theory system uses judicial foreclosure because we disagree with the contract that they put a lien on, so we argue the mortgage. In the title theory system, remember, who owns the house truly? The trust or the third-party person. So now watch this. Here's what happens. The guy that has the beneficial interest or the borrower misses 3 or 4 payments, the bank literally calls the trust and says, hey, deed us the property because that guy's missed 3 payments. And they go, well, okay. It's no skin off my back. Under the power of sale clause, they just go right back because there's no argument, so therefore they don't have to go in front of a judge. Now, the guy with the beneficial interest may argue, but who cares? He's not the owner of the house. So they have a non-judicial foreclosure. They don't need a judge to read them that. They just call the third-party vendor up, like GM calls GMAC and goes, hey, go hook that car and tow it. Owner had made 2 payments on the car payment. Let's repo it. You can bitch and moan all you want. It doesn't matter. Those 2 guys agreed. It's gone. So they have a non-judicial foreclosure. There's a thing called a strict, under the power sale clause, what happens is third-party person sells the house, gives the money to the bank. They have a strict foreclosure, which just the third party just quit claim deeds the property back to the bank, boom, and they deal with it. All right? But in both of those cases, they're non-judicial. They don't need a judge because the true owner and the bank aren't arguing. Everybody get what I'm saying?
So the non-judicial foreclosure, like it was really bad. There was a show called Real Estate Wars or something and it was Phoenix. And because it's Arizona, there were a lot of auctions there when it was really bad. It was just like all these people were buying homes.
We had a lot. John was going through 600-700 homes a month here at the sheriff's sale in the 2008, 2009 because of all the foreclosures. Yeah. No, Arizona is actually a third party.
Right. So they were just, banks were just holding it because they like got all the deeds.
Yeah. Now, there is this other thing. Remember I told you, I said, hey, I think I get 18 months free. I want to go to court and make you read that and make the judge decide, and I'm going to be a real butthole about it, make you spend your time and your attorney and all of that. Well, the reality is I know I don't get 18 months. I just got a problem, couldn't pay it. So I'll tell you what, bank, how about I give you the property back instead of going to court? I know I'm wrong. You caught me. Why don't I deed you the property in lieu of, which means instead, of foreclosure? It's called a deed in lieu of foreclosure. I know that I don't, and instead of going to court and wasting all that time and effort and getting my name put in the paper as a court person and all that, how about I just quit claim you the property back and we'll forego the whole foreclosure and go it that way. Now, in the old days, like 10 years ago, deed in lieu of foreclosure was not looked as bad as a foreclosure. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 was a foreclosure. Deed in lieu, 7, 7.5, 8, because you didn't force the bank to go to a losing, you knew you were going to lose, all right? Today's world, they're still the same. They've pretty much said, yeah, deed in lieu of foreclosure, you still have proven you can't handle money. Now, here's the problem with Indiana. Because in a deed in lieu, how do you give the property back to the bank? Just told you, use a quitclaim deed. What does a quitclaim deed transfer back to the bank? My interest, whatever it is. In Indiana, what's my interest? At best case scenario, I still owe 1 year of taxes because in Indiana we work in arrears. So that's the best worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is I also didn't pay the HOA, and I've got a couple other liens on there. All of those would become the bank's. So the bank says, no, we're not even going to take your deed in lieu. We want to go through foreclosure so we can strip all that away and then take the house. So what I tell people in Indiana when they go, oh, the bank has offered a deed in lieu of foreclosure. Sweet. That's like a unicorn. Sounds good. Never seen it in real life. All right? Especially in Indiana. Because of simply the fact that when you give it back at best case, they still owe the taxes, and they're not going to pay that. So they may bait you with this, hey, we'll give you a deed in lieu, but remember, that bank is loaning to all over the country, where that may work in some states. In Indiana, I've never seen a deed in lieu work. Have you?
Only back in 2008.
Yeah, because they don't want anything. That's called a deed in lieu of foreclosure. What? Question?
So in the foreclosure, is the court going to say, give them the property and pay your taxes?
No.
So who gets the taxes? Or is it still the same though?
The taxes are still due,
Right?
and they will go on as a lien for the next buyer that's coming in.
Okay. So there's really
Or the bank, depending if you can get them to bite off.
it depends, but there's still the taxes are due.
The still taxes are due for somebody, right? Because Indiana works a year in arrears. All right, let's change audio and let's keep going with the concept, but we'll change the audio file.